Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to F1 2018 ORL as we enter. Oh my god, I can hear myself in the background. Sorry, I do apologize for that, but we are now in. But we have now entered the final. Actually, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to end the stream and come back live. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a short minute. Okay, that should work now, I think. I'm not sure if it was muted or something, but yeah, guys, any comments, whatever, sound, anything at all, do drop us a message in the YouTube chat, because I can see everything on YouTube. So any questions about ORL and all of that kind of stuff, do let me know. We've always got an admin on the chat who is always able to help, or I myself can help. We want to shout out your support for one of the drivers, we can give you a nice little honourable mention on the stream. The Big Boss sets a 13-1 ahead of Emilio for now. What about Twin Barrel J? Oh, Photon's in the pits. Photon always, never really sets a lap. It always seems to be the case. As FormulaDani and Soren have actually DNF'd or retired from the session. As I seem to be having a case of the hiccups. Let's ride on board with Hazard, as I like to call him. Very, very quick. So let's see what he can do then. He's not the quickest lads, but he is on those medium tyres, and he's the fastest of the medium runners for now. Again, he may just be on a race strategy, and it's always interesting to kind of see these guys, how they balance the race strategy with other stuff. But James has done his fastest lap time on a 1:07 actually. Best time. Let's keep it on best time. Yes. Why not? So the fastest on those medium tyres at the minute is Barney with a 10.4. Calcifer having done a 1:10.7. So I'm sure he's got a lot of pace to find. But let's just run you through all the big names racing today. We've got James, Photon, Soron, of course, Calcifer and FormulaDani, Hazard, Marit Muller, Nagram very quick, and also new driver for us, KMX. I'll just call him KMX. Very, very quick. So watch out for him. He's in AOR split 1, so definitely watch out for him. However, let's just ride on board with Mr. Hazard for now. Let's see what kind of lap time he can pull. It's not looking quick. It doesn't seem to have the pace on these medium tyres. But then again, let's see how many laps he plans on doing. Speaking of KMH, he's just done. Oh, ghosting! I looked up from my sheet of paper and I just saw the Toro Rosso Red Bull just stop and then thankfully ghosted. Otherwise, that could have ended very badly. Back end stepping out a little bit for G3. Actually, I'm just trying to think. What should I, KMH or G3? I think G3 is. I think KMH is his club tag essentially. But he's on a quick lap as we speak. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve upon the 110? Velocity James with the 1.7 at the minute, fastest of everyone so far by quite a margin. G3 will go a little bit quicker. Actually, he's just slower. But let's ride on board with James. Remember, he was at the Race of Champions earlier this year in Abu Dhabi, and that was a great experience for him. We did get to speak to him afterwards, and yeah, I mean, when you're racing with Vettel and drivers like that, it just must be an incredible atmosphere. But James is going to be entering the pits, so who else can we ride on board with? Yellow flag at the end of sector 1. Calcifer just about making the apex. But if we take a look at the fitted tyres now, Calcifer's done a good 5 laps on these tyres, as has Barney. Toffee's done 5 laps on his, so has Hazard. So yeah, it's always the case in practice that everything's just a little bit slow, and we will have to wait for qualifying, which will start in about 25 minutes for everything to start spicing up and to start seeing some really representative lap times coming through. Bit of a lock up there in the front left for Calcifer. I want to turn down the brake pressure just a tad, maybe shift his brake bias towards the back end. Always helps when you're on worn rubber, just shifting the brake bias to the rear just that little bit. And then you can shift it all the way back to the front when you're on nice fresh new rubber. However, VSR Muller is on a hot lap, so let's ride on board with him. Or he's on a warm-up lap. Also, watch out for your constructors battle, about 30 points separating Ferrari and Renault. Renault, Calcifer and Elsinger, and Ferrari is Biancalila and Photon. Biancalila not racing today, so Photon is going to be the only driver giving out points for today. Right, just gonna have to make a quick edit to something on YouTube. We'll be back in just a short bit. Yeah, I know it's Brazil. I definitely changed it before the race started. I made sure to change it, but YouTube does this weird thing that even if I put into my essentially my going live software, my OBS, even if I put in a new stream title on OBS, it doesn't change it on YouTube. I have to go directly to YouTube to change it, which is a real pain in the backside, may I add, because you think, hey look, I've changed everything, it's all good, and then it's like, no, it's not. So yeah, thank you YouTube for being amazing. There you go, changes have been saved. Right, now it looks like, now it will look normal. Right, okay. So, let's go straight back to everything. Right, so Muller actually moves up to second, so it's currently a Toro Rosso 1-2. Shame we missed that. James is out on a set of medium tyres right now. Is Muller still pushing? He's entering the, he's about to exit sector 1 in the second, or I think we just missed that. But don't forget, this is the second shortest track on the calendar. The only shorter track than this is Austria, where you get a lap time of what, 1 minute 5. So very, very short track. And yeah, so you're going to see a lot more laps coming through in qualifying, a lot more time for the drivers to get in the pit, set a new lap, and of course more laps in the race as a result. Don't forget, we do race 50%. Muller was 3/10 up actually, so he may just about sneak into the 107s as he's going to slow down. What about James? He does a 110.8. So no one on those medium tyres really seems to be able to break into the 9s at the minute. But if this is the case, where's Barney? Barney's best lap time of 110.4 is very, very quick. So watch out for him in the race, because it seems that he does have, or watch out for him in qualifying, because it seems that he does have a fair bit of pace. He's done 9 laps so far on that set of tyres. So has Calcifer and Marek. Marek is on those soft tyres though. Photon is in the pits. We have one AI in the lobby at the minute, so when the final driver joins, if there is a final driver, we will then be back up to a full grid. Don't forget, this is the penultimate race of the season, so anything can happen here. The title can be decided this very race. If FormulaDani does not score a point in this race, if FormulaDani does not score 2 points in this race, he is out of the championship. He will no longer be able to hold down Calcifer. Similarly, if Calcifer can get more points than FormulaDani, Calcifer has won the championship. However, beating FormulaDani is a very, very, very tall task. So let's see if he can do it. But one thing that we have noticed with Calcifer in the past is if he can get a decent start, if he can get away well, get up the pace with the front guys quickly, he can stay with them. But if he lags behind and, you know, the top guys can pull a gap, he's out of it. And we've seen, especially in Russia, where Calcifer was so far down the grid, down in 11th, and it was only after a few DNFs and the safety car that he moved up, and he actually finished 3rd at the end. So it's going to come down to this again. Will everyone else be able to finish? Everyone else has to have a clean race and try to get as many, well, for FormulaDani's sake, there needs to be as many cars as possible between Danny and between Danny and Calcifer. As James coming around turn 15 now, what is the lap time going to be? It's looking actually fairly quick. It's a 1:10.7 and not enough to get into the 109s. The timing line here at Brazil is quite late on down the start-finish straight, which you can catch one out when you're commentating. As Elsinger moves up to 3rd with a 1:08.8 on the soft tyres. So that's actually a pretty good lap time, considering he is 4/10 off Muller's time. Although Muller did it on the harder tyres, still a quick lap from Elsinger. What about Weebs? He's on the super soft tyres. Can he improve on his previous best of a 1:09.8? He can. It's going to be a 1:09.5. Not enough to get him any further up. But Black Panther, meanwhile, where is this? Is this on the final corner? Is it final corner? Has he locked up the... It is the final corner, so he's locked up the back end through there. But again, he's on the soft tyres. It's done a 1:09.9, and he just needs to find a little bit more pace as he just taps the barrier trying to get out of James's way. Speaking of James, what kind of lap is James on? Again, just trying to find his quali pace. 1:10 flat. A good lap time for the medium compounds. A very good lap for the medium compounds. Sorry, detail, we want your best lap time. There we go. So, but a 1:10 flat on the medium tyres is quick, though. It's faster than what Barney did. It's faster than what Calcifer did. It's faster than what Marek did on the soft tyres. But again, heading into qualifying, everyone will find a second, purely because they'll be pushing a little bit harder and because you can use max fuel. But everyone in the top 5 has done their lap times on those super soft tyres. So a good job from Elsinger, Weebs, and now Nagrom actually, who's got into the 1:09s on the soft tyres. So a good result, so a good lap time from him there. But it seems that your best of the rest battle, which, so usually your best is is going to be James, Photon, Sauron, Calcifer, Hazard, FormulaDani, Marek, Muller, and for today KMH as well. Your best of the rest today is going to be between Nagrom, Elsinger, Black Panther, and for today it looks like Barney and Weebs may have a shot at, you know, battling for that final point of the grid. Who is on a lap? Nagrom's still pushing hard. He's a 10th down through the second sector. Takes as much curb as he dares through turn 13. Now through the long sweeping left-handers of 14 and 15. Let's see what kind of lap time he can put on. No, he's going to head straight into the pits. Always good to practice your braking points for that pit entry. What about Emilio? He's a little bit down at the minute. Sorry, pardon me. I've had a very long day, but let's ride on board with Barney. Oh, sorry. Right, okay, so Barney 1.6 seconds down, unable to improve. He is on those soft tyres now, so he should be able to improve on his lap. Who is out on a lap? FormulaDani, Sauron still out of the session. But let's stick on board with Photon. He's about to enter turn 13 now. How much curb does he take? Just touches the curb, just a little kiss on the curb. And now heading up the hill through 14 and 15. Let's see what he can do. It's looking actually fairly quick right now. This may be a 108 on the soft tyres, which would be a decent lap, 108.7, but it's not going to be counted. The lap time was invalidated, otherwise that would have put him into a very juicy third position for practice. Only 10 minutes left of the session, so we are 2/3 of the way through, and then we can start to see some serious action out on track. As who's that ahead who's run wide? It is Mr. Hazard. I wish Marcus Ericsson would go out on track. That could be quite entertaining actually. So Hazard being controlled by the AI, unfortunately going to get in the way. We cannot ride on board with that engine noise, it's too much. Elsinger has found 2/10 on these super soft tyres so far. So a decent first sector from Elsinger. He's going to make his way through the double left-handers of 4 and 5, and now into the technical section of 6, 7, now into 8. Need to try to put it all the way back over to the right. He's not pushing anymore, so that's his lap over. Clearly not too happy, but Big Boss finding a fair bit of time, actually getting in a good lap on those super soft tyres, so maybe he can challenge for that best of the rest title effectively tonight. He's going to head into the pit. Who is on a hot lap? Weaves unfortunately unable to improve. Does a 109.54. Bardi on the soft tyres. Pardon me. Bardi on the soft tyres does a 109.6, which puts him into 7th place ahead of Elsinger. Again, actually Mark 313 not racing today, so he could have been one of those big drivers who could have knocked Calcifer down a bit, but it doesn't appear that he's racing today. Emilio is in that Haas car, so a shame for Mark and actually for Haas as well, because they have been doing quite decently in the championship. Also, watch out for the championship battle between Williams, Toro Rosso and Red Bull. Toro Rosso gaining a lot of points right now with Muller at the wheel, as are Red Bull with Marek and Soron. So they're climbing up the order, and Williams, who have Toffee and Myler, falling through the order. So if Muller can get out a decent result today, he could ensure that Toro Rosso will take 7th place in the Constructors' Championship. He's going to get right out of the ray of Hazard, heading into turn 6 and 7. Pull it back over to the right for turn 9. Be as patient as you can. And now into the kink of 10 and 11. Slow it right down. Slowest corner of the track. That second hairpin there. Actually, is it slower than the first hairpin or not? I'd like to hear your guys' opinions of it. What's slower, guys? The first hairpin of Brazil, or the second, as Hazard loses the back end through the final corner when putting the power down, and just did not have the traction or the grip to really push it, and that's his lap over, and I'm sure his tyres are going to be absolutely shot. And Hazard gets disqualified from the session. That's just a load of poppycock, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't get it. But anyway, Velocity Photon is on an outlap, actually, as is James and Muller. And James is on some super soft, lovely red tyres. So let's see what he can do on his hot lap. Currently leading the standings ahead of his Toro Rosso teammate Muller. So let's see, maybe we could get a Toro Rosso 1-2 in this practice session. Again, doesn't mean the most. Oh, as James losing the back end through turn 4, holds it though, in complete control of the car. And now through 6 and 7, the double right hand as we enter 8. And again, guys, what do you think slower, this turn 8 hairpin here, or the next hairpin of turn 11? I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts. And it looks like James is backing out. He's turned his all the way down to 0, so he's no longer on a quick lap. And actually, if we just scroll through it and see what tyres are fitted, so Muller currently doing some race simulation runs, done 6 laps on those medium tyres. James going to head into the pits, though. Muller a bit off his best lap time on those medium tyres. Meanwhile, Myler, actually he moves up to 3rd with a 108.7. So of course Myler is going to be in that battle for best of the rest. He's always up there battling, and Myler, Elsinger and Black Panther always have a good battle. Black Panther closing into Myler in the championship standing. He needs to find some 10 points in these next 2 races, which is going to be a tall order with such a strong field of drivers for today. Right, let's run a board with Ferkel coming around the final couple of corners on the soft tyres. It's looking quick. It might be another 108. Let's see what he can do. It's a 108.4. But once again, it will not count. Otherwise, he would have gone up to 2nd or 3rd with that lap time. But again, he does have the pace on the soft tyres relative to James and Muller, who did their faster lap on those super soft tyres. Let's sit on board with Marek. He's on a set of soft tyres now. What was his best time on? His best time was on soft tyres, but 9 lap old soft tyres. So let's sit on board with Marek for a hot lap. Runs ever so slightly wide through turn 2, but then again that's perfectly fine because you have such a wide exit to 3. You can still keep the throttle planted. Slows it down for 4, try to be patient, take as much curb. Now through the kink of 5, still flat out, and now into 6 and 7. Such a slight brake, drops it down to 6th, not 5th gear. And now as we enter turn 8, going to slow it right down. Keeps it over to the left for the long left-hander of 9. Now through the kink of 10, on the brakes as quickly as you can. Nice and patient through 11. Get the power back on, flat out through turn 12. And now into 13. Take is not going to take any curb, but need to be careful. Don't want to lose your back end like Hazard did. Now flat out all the way through 14 and 15. This is looking fairly quick. Hopefully he hasn't invalidated this lap time. What's it going to be? It's a 108.6. And Marek will move up to 5th place. Photon actually sets a 108.4 on those soft tyres. He finally does it. He finally gets a validated lap time in. But Calcifer looking very, very spicy on those super soft tyres as well. But Photon and Marek on the soft tyres only half a second off these guys, so watch out for them come qualifying because they seem to have a lot of pace. And if they can get away with starting on the soft tyres and doing a one-stop strategy, that could be absolutely excellent news for them come race. And we know Marek does like starting on the harder compound of tyres, as does Calcifer. As Photon clearly ran wide on the exit of turn 2. And Bencito has joined the session, so Bencito will be taking that final spot in the Sauber. He'll be replacing the Marcus Ericsson control car. Let's see what Marek can do. Okay, it's a slow lap, 117, but he's now starting. Is he starting a lap now? I don't think he... It looks like he is, but he doesn't have a lot of us. Let's see what he can do as he heads into the end of Sector 1. He's just under a tenth quicker, half a tenth up on his previous best. But then again, Sector 1's not where you can find a lot of time. Sector 1 would be similar for most people. But it's Sector 2 where you can find so much time through this tight Mickey Mouse-like section of the track. He slows it right down for turn 8. Now through 9 into the kink of 10 and 11. Let's see what his sector time is. We will see the time on the exit of turn 13 of turn 12 here. 2/10 up. So not bad from Marek. It's looking like a 108.4 dead. So let's see if he can improve upon that, as Muller also retires from this session. And Marek going to head into the pits. And Marek will retire from the session as well. But there you go, that is the end of the session. Who's still on a hot lap? Barney, is he's going through turn 1. He's just started his lap. What about KMH? He's coming around the final corner. He's 6/10 up. He's 6/10 down, sorry, on his previous best. So it's not looking like this is going to be any improvement on his 109.8 that he's already set. And let's just see. No, it's not. It's going to be a 110.4. Toffee still on his lap, as is, who else is on the lap that we were just talking about? Barney. Let's sit on board with Barney for a bit. He's a 10th down through sector 1. Let's see if we can find a bit of time through sector 2, as he loses the back end just a little bit. Benzitas joined the session, but he wasn't able to set a lap time in the end. Oh, Barney rides the curb through 14, and that can spin you out. What can he do though? It's going to be a 108.9, and he moves up into P9. So a decent job from Barney then, but let's watch out for everyone's pace come qualifying, which will start in just a few moments time. But just to clarify then, okay, we're not going to see the final results from practice, it would seem. Okay, yes we are. So Velocity James will take your practice victory ahead of Calcifer, Photon, Muller and Marek. Then a surprise entries from your best of the rest pack. That is, of course, Myler, Black Panther and Elsinger, all on those super soft tyres, and half a 10th of a second separating the three of them. Barney's right there as well. He's only a 10th down, as is Big Boss and Nagrob. Reeves a further 3/10 back in 12th place, and then you've got Emilio Sachs, KMH, who seems to be sandbagging just a little bit, Toffee and Twin Barrel J. Sauron and FormulaDani did not set a lap time through that entire session. Right, so we are ready to go for qualifying then. It's a lovely sunny day here in virtual Brazil, as we get ready to get underway. And of course the first person out is probably going to be Elsinger, so let's just get ready to go. Or is it actually, no, a Mercedes? Could a Mercedes beat Elsinger out of track? It's happened. Elsinger's not the first person out of track. He's going to be the second. Disappointing stuff there from Elsinger. He is going to be gutted. And it was Twin Barrel J, so the honour of the first onboard lap of qualifying will go over to Twin Barrel J, unless Elsinger passes him on that outlap, as Twin Barrel J runs a little bit wide on the pit exit, almost touches the barrier. Right, so let's just stick on board then as a Twin Barrel J. He's got a nice little helmet design. I'm starting to appreciate that more and more with every single race. Don't forget guys, if you have any questions about ORL or anything like that, do drop us a message in the chat. It could, whether you want to join for season 11, which we are now taking registrations for. If you want to join us on the admin team, commentate with us, anything like that, do get in touch. You can do that through the Steam community online racing league. But Twin Barrel J now coming to start his hot lap, keeps it all the way up to the right. Watch the braking point, about 70 meters, slows it down, takes a nice late apex for turn 1, sweeps it through turn 2, nice and patient on the throttle, flat out through turn 3, and now on to the second straight. I guess we can call this the back straight. Oh, as a little twitch on the steering under braking. He must have just had a little bit of a moment with that back end, and we're hearing the really annoying sound. And now as he sweeps into turns 6 and 7. Keep it all the way on the left as you then sweep back in for turn 8. Through turn 9, need to be really patient. Third gear all the way through, and now as we enter turn 12. Sorry, we're entering turn 13 now. Bring it down to 4th gear, runs a bit wide, gets a wheel on the grass. That's going to cost him massively. Let's see what he can do on the run down to the line though. Can he get a 109? That's the kind of time that these guys will want to be getting. There's a 109.8 for TVJ. But where's Elsinger? He's going to be the next one to cross the line. It's a 108.1 from Elsinger. A decent lap on those super soft tyres. But Muller with a 107 flat. And we did mention that your quickest time is FormulaDani. He beats it all straight away with a 106.8. And it looks like these guys are opting for those super soft tyres. So let's see if anyone breaks the trend with a soft set of tyres. But look at this. Rather intriguingly, Photon goes second, but Calcifer on the medium tyres, what can he do? It's a 109.3, and it's not a bad lap time. Marek also on those medium tyres as well. He manages to get in a 109.2. So just pipping Calcifer, and if Calcifer had got ahead of Elsinger, yeah, medium tyres could work for him, but it's not. So I feel like he's going to have to go for those soft tyres, otherwise he's going to risk getting pipped by guys like Nagrom, Big Boss, and the Black Panther, Elsinger, etc., etc. As Barney moves into 5th with a 108 flat. Who else is on a lap? KMH is on a lap, but he's a fair bit back. What about Nagrom? He's a fair bit back as well. Let's get on board with Weebs for it is his penultimate race after all. What can he do? It's a 109 flat, and he will jump ahead of Marek and Calcifer. What about KMH though? He's one that we want to be watching out for. We know he's quick. Watch out for Hazard as well. He's currently in 4th. G3 has a bit of a moment on the exit of turn 13. We will touch the grass. We saw Twin Barrel J doing that earlier. But let's see what G3 can do. It's looking quick. It's a 107.4, and he will move up into 4th place. Still a velocity 1-2 at the minute. James on an out lap as it stands. Who else is on a hot lap? Nagrom, of course. What can Nagrom do? He's on those soft tyres. It's a 108.3. And not a bad lap for a set of soft tyres. So he's actually looking decent going into the race. But let's sit on board with Velocity James. He was at the top of the standings from practice. Can he do it in qualifying though? Can he beat his Velocity teammates of Photon and FormulaDani coming into turn 15? Now let's sit on board for a hot lap with Mr. James. And actually, let's just enjoy the engine sound for one hot lap. Nice and smooth into 4, flat out through 5. 2 lovely, lovely downshifts. Exquisitely smooth by Velocity James so far. Just keeping it neat and tidy. You can hear the back end squeal now as we're approaching turn 11. Back end wanting to step out all the way. You have to be a little bit aggressive into 11 now through 12. 13. Oh, the downshifts are beautiful. Little bit of a lock up from that front left tyre, and now flat out, and it's all about the horsepower. As you go up the hill, he touches the curb. That can spin you out if you aren't careful, but this is looking really quick. What's it going to be from James? It's a 106.8, and he will jump his teammate and the Velocity boys all in the 106.8. 8 hundredths of a second separating the 3 of them. What a lap! But FormulaDani, actually James didn't beat FormulaDani, who was just off 100th off in the end. Sorry, I do apologize, but now FormulaDani's on a hot lap. Let's sit on board with him. Can he improve even more? You've got Muller with a 107 flat. He is so close, and you have to just find a bit more. You can't count out Calcifer and Marek either, because they are fast, as is Hazard and Sauron. So they need to still find as much as they can. Bit of a lock-up on that front right tyre. All these guys would probably get maybe one, if not two more hot laps in after this lap. Flat out through 13 and now flat out through 12 and now into 13. No real lock-up there. And now, once again, all about the horsepower race up the hill. What can FormulaDani do? Can he find even more time here at Brazil? What's it going to be? It's a 106.5 FormulaDani. As always, finding more and more time just when you think more time doesn't exist. Muller 106.9. He is not on a hot lap. Wasn't able to find any more time, it would seem. What about KMH? He's not on a hot lap. Sauron, though, is on his hot lap. Let's see what he can do. Oh, this is not going to be a very hot lap. Let's stick on board with Hazard, though, who is on a hot lap now. Runs a little bit wide. Misses the apex through 4. It will probably cost him maybe about a tenth, maybe a bit under. Try to carry as much speed as he can. And Hazard is actually going to back out of this. Sauron is really pushing this time round. What about Muller? Muller's not pushing. KMH is pushing as well. So we've got Sauron. We'll wait for him to complete a lap, then move over to G3. Actually, Sauron's on 100% so I don't think he's pushing this lap. So let's sit on board with G3. He's also on 100% ERS. There's no one on a hot lap for Photon is though. Let's sit on board with Photon. Can he jump ahead of James? We saw these three battling, a massive three-way battle for the win all the way back in Germany. And that time round it was Photon who was able... No, sorry, FormulaDani won that actually. Didn't win it on the road, it was James who won it on the road, but penalties ended up coming into play and FormulaDani eventually took the win. This time round though, I don't think his Velocity teammates will try to take the win away from him because FormulaDani needs every point he can to beat Calcifer in this championship. But what can Photon do? It's a 106.8, he'll jump ahead of James, but not ahead of FormulaDani, who is, as usual, in absolutely impeccable form. G3's found some time in that first sector. Let's sit on board with Sauron though, who takes as much curb as he dares through turn 8, through turn 9 now. Emilio getting well out of the way. And Sauron's actually going to back out of this, so let's sit on board with the G3, who's having a bit of a moment with a back end through turn 9. Sorry, through turn 9. Now through 10 and into 12. Get the power down. Where will he brake? He'll brake nice and early, about 80 meters. Get the power on. I missed the delta time. Sauron is in the pits as we mentioned, and G3 actually going to head in the pits as well. He was 2 tenths up, but clearly not happy enough with that. Who else is on a hot lap? Let's sit on board with VP Mark, because Marek, because Marek is very, very quick. And we don't want to miss a hot lap from him, but Marek also going to head into the pit. What about Black Panther? Black Panther and Elsinger on hot laps as we speak. And Elsinger seems to be on a hot lap. I don't think Black Panther is. Actually, Hazard's on a hot lap, so let's stick on board with him. He's 4 seconds down at the minute, so clearly he's not on the hottest of laps. Velocity James on a slow lap as it stands. Reeves in the pits. Let's stick on board with Elsinger then. What can he do? He's a 108 currently. He needs to get 107. He's a 107.9. And that will move him up to 9th place. From 7th place to 15th, separated by 0.2 of a second. That's how close this is right now. And they're all on the super soft tyres. Sauron leading that massive 8-man group. And that is actually crazy. 107.826 all the way down to a 108.0. Let's see if Black Panther can improve upon that though. I'm sure VP Marek will. Don't expect him to be starting all the way down in 16th place. He should be around that top 10. But currently this is really good news for FormulaDani because the championship rival Calcifer all the way down in 10th place at the minute. And considering this is Brazil, a track that isn't the most well known for overtaking, this could be really difficult for Calcifer to make his way through the order. But on the other side, it wouldn't be unheard of to see a safety car, and that could massively save Calcifer. What can Black Panther do? It's a 107.7. Black Panther moves up into 7th place. A great lap from him, and he gets himself out of that kind of 2/10 zone, which is now stretching from 8th to 15th, no longer from 7th. Wow, what a lap. However, FormulaDani is on a hot lap, and when FormulaDani is on a hot lap, we have to ride on board with it because it's FormulaDani. Let's see what he can do. If he can get this under a 106.5, you can pretty much just say GG, well played right here, right now, because no one else is going to touch under a 106.5. Can he do it? He has been absolutely majestic all season long. He's won 8 out of the 9 races he's participated in, only once losing out to Tim, and that was in, I can't remember where it was, but FormulaDani gonna break massively and head into the pit. So clearly he's not too happy with something. We don't know what it is, but he's not happy with something. What about Marek though? He is on the soft tires. So Marek is going to stick with his philosophy of qualifying on the harder yellow wall tires, as is Calcifer most likely. He did his lap on the soft. Let's see if he switches it around at all. But let's see what Marek can do. Out of the final corner he comes. If it's not quick enough, he will head into the pits and put on a super soft tires. And it doesn't look like it's quick enough. So Marek gonna bail on this one. He'll get one more chance for a hot lap, as Emilio Sachs retires from the session. So not quite sure what happened to Emilio there. Maybe he's gone into a wall, or he's just thought he can't improve anymore. However, let's sit on board with James, who's actually improved. He's done a 106.7. He's just nipped ahead of Photon yet again. So James and Photon battling. So could he spoil the Velocity party? We've seen a Velocity 1, 2, 3. I think 2 times this season. We could be in for a third Velocity podium lockout. But we'll have to wait and see. Velocity James is still on a lap. Actually, he's doing some very early upshifts. What about Muller though? Is he on a hot lap? No, he's a fair bit off the pace. Actually, no. He is on a hot lap right now. What can he do? Can he get a low 6? It's a 106.7, and he's split the Velocity boys right slap bang in the middle of them. Well, a bit closer to James. 100th down on Velocity James. And that is going to be Muller's final lap. He's not going to be able to get back to the pits and out again for another lap. So Muller provisionally in 3rd place. Right, let's sit on board with G3. We've got Hazard just a little bit further down. What about Soren? He's even further back. What about Marek? Marek is on his outlap now, so he'll have 1 lap to go quicker. This is going to be G3's final attempt. He'll get 1 lap after this, but that will be all. So we're reaching the crunch point now of qualifying session. It's do or die. You have to pull everything out of the hat. Everyone, I repeat, everyone is on super soft tires now. Calcifer and Marek taking no chances. But what can G3 do? It's looking very quick. It's a 107 flat. It's not going to be enough to jump ahead of Photon. Still 2/10 down, but he does improve ever so slightly. What about Hazard? Hazard's in the pits. So Hazard not happy with that lap time, or maybe he had a lockup and he just did not want to complete the lap. What about Soren? Soren started his hot lap now. Let's sit on board with him. He's the only one out on a hot lap at the minute. Muller and actually Photon's on a hot lap. Let's sit on board with Photon. If Photon can improve, he needs to find 0.05 of a second from somewhere to jump ahead of Muller, who is spoiling the velocity party up at the front of the grid. Muller's retired from the session, which is what we expected. He couldn't set another lap time, but here it is. Photon, it's do or die. He will not get across the line in time for another lap, I don't think. And there's the checkered flag. This is the final lap from Photon. It's not enough. A 106.735, but it's invalidated. It would have given him second, and that is a massive, massive shame. What about Soren though? What can he do? He's a 10th down at the minute. Has he found anything in this final sector? It's a 107.1 and is just shy of 5th place. Who else is out on a lap? Calcifer. Calcifer didn't get across the line in time. He's starting in 13th. What about Marek? Marek has got around in time. He's on his flying lap now, but Calcifer, what a shame. On the soft tyres though, what can Marek do? The 107.4. He will qualify alongside his Red Bull teammate, and he just managed to pip ahead of Big Boss. But that is the end of qualifying. It's a Veloce 1-2 lockout, locking out the front row of the grid. But FormulaDani, he did a 106.4 or 106.385 with his final lap. How insane is this man? He's just on another level from everyone. I mean, these guys are on another level in general, but FormulaDani is just incredible. But there you go. It's a Veloce 1-2 ahead of Muller and Photon. New Boy G3 RRX takes 5th ahead of Soren. Marek in 7th, while Big Boss and Hazard make up 8th and 9th. Black Panther takes the final kind of points position in 10th. Barney and Elsinger 11th and 12th. And Nagrom is ahead of a Calcifer who didn't get around in time to start his flying lap. And he's starting on the soft tyres. But then again, he's got a free choice of tyres because he's outside the top 10. So, massive, massive miscalculation there from Calcifer. Bencito in 15th ahead of Myler. Right guys, and it looks like we're going to be getting ready for the race. This is where I have to do my introduction, which will come through in just a bit. Don't forget, we are in for a completely dry race. No chance of clouds at all. Lovely and sunny. Just what you like to see. But how close is that? Less than a 10th separating James and Photon. As close as you like. And actually it's really close between Barney and Calcifer. But again, Calcifer just unlucky on the wrong set of tyres. Right, so what this means now is we are going to have to do our usual, which is go over to our software, start recording. Guys, get your messages in, all of that stuff. I want to know, what are your predictions? Who's going to win here today? Can Calcifer actually get some points? Because it's easier said than done with the strength of the field that we are having today. Calcifer is going to have to give it his all if he wants to get enough points. Remember, Calcifer, if FormulaDani wins, Calcifer needs to get a 5th and a 3rd to win the title. And with FormulaDani starting pole, it's going to be very, very, very difficult, as they would say. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate race of the season. It is round 20 of ORL Season 10 here at the 4.3 kilometer circuit in Brazil. Brazil has hosted many epic end of championship showdowns. We remember Kimi Räikkönen taking his one and only championship win Lewis Hamilton taking his first ever championship win in the McLaren when he pipped Massa to the title on that last corner. Button as well, if we remember back to 2009 when he was in the Braum. And don't forget, Vettel won the championship here after spinning out in the final corner. However, nowadays though, with Abu Dhabi taking the final race of the season, we don't see as many titles decided, but it is still possible. FormulaDani has taken yet another pole ahead of James, who makes it an all-Veloce front row lockout. Muller takes third ahead of Photon, while new boy G3 to ORL, he takes 5th place ahead of Soren. Marek is in 7th ahead of Big Boss in 8th, while Hazard and Black Panther round out the top 10. Barney is in 11th ahead of Elsinger, while Nagrum takes 13th ahead of Calcifer, who wasn't able to get out to set a hot lap on the super soft tyres. Bencito's in 15th ahead of Myler in 16th, while Weebs for his penultimate ever Grand Prix in 17th ahead of Twin Barrel J. Emilio Sachs and Toffee round out the top 10. For those of you who don't know, if Velocity FormulaDani wins this race and the next race, Calcifer needs to finish 5th and 3rd to win the title. 27 points separating the two of them, and we're in for a very, very close race here at Brazil. We're waiting for the lights to come on, and it looks like we're ready to go. 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and lights out. Away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. FormulaDani gets a really good start. James is going to feed him behind, but if we look back, let's look back from someone's perspective. G3 going to look for the inside down Muller. Muller's going to get absolutely swamped. Photon's going to move back up into 3rd place. Muller will hold on to 4th, but Soren's going to have a go. Let's look on board from Marek's perspective. Soren's going to switch over to the outside. G3 down the inside of Muller. They both run wide, and Muller is going to reclaim the position. And now you've got Soren. He's trying to take his teammate Marek down the inside into turn 6. He's going to make it work. But now you've got Marek, who's looking down the inside into 8. He's done it, but Soren now on the inside through 9. Marek's going to hold the inside for the second hairpin though. Does Soren have any answer at all to this? As Soren loses the back end slightly, I'm not sure, there might have been a bit of contact, but Marek is going to hold on to 6th place. A good job from Marek so far. He's gained 1 position off the start. However, let's just look ahead. Is anyone really battling for position? Yes, let's look back here. Calcifer, he needs to do his utter best. He needs to work through this field. Let's stay on board with him, because he's going to be in for an absolutely excruciatingly exciting race. Calcifer will try to get the double cut back. Can he close in onto Nagrom and Bencito? He's gone for the medium tyres. So an interesting strategy call for Calcifer up ahead. We can see battling going on, but Calcifer is going to move up a place and into 14th, while up ahead Bencito runs wide. Can Calcifer have a go here? Up ahead we've got G3, who's having the battle of his life, it would seem, with sorry, not G3, it was Soren and Marek. They're still in the same position as they started off with. So let's just sit on board with Calcifer, who's still in 14th after the start. He hasn't gained any places yet. Bencito's had a good start. He's gained 2 places. However, it looks like we're having a bit of a glitch, saying it says that G3 is 1 minute 10 seconds down. Of course he's not. He's right up there in between Marek and Muller, as FormulaDani sets a new fastest lap of the race, as expected for the second lap of a Grand Prix, but he's over a second ahead of James. So no DRS opportunity for James to close in, and FormulaDani will literally just try to pull with every lap, but we're going to stay on board with the current championship leader, Mr. Calcifer, as he tries to hunt down Bencito and make his way back into the top 10. He's got DRS, he's going to have a bit of a lock-up. Bencito, late on the brakes, runs ever so slightly wide, but that's not going to affect him too much. And Calcifer getting massively caught up. If it finishes like this, there will only be 2 points separating Calcifer and FormulaDani, which would put FormulaDani as the complete favourite heading into the final race of the season. Up ahead, no real close battles. Nagrom fairly close to Calcifer, as is Myla. But doesn't look like we're going to see anything just yet. We may be getting our DRS activated this lap, so let's see if anyone can find a way through at all. G3 closing into Muller, but he's going to be too far back to get anything to work. Myla too far back on Nagrom as well, and everyone is just too spaced out at the minute. However, Big Boss has found a way through on Hazard as Sauron picks up the first penalty of the race. So again, watch out for your penalties in the Grand Prix. It can change everything. Nagrom closing in onto Calcifer, but remember, here at Brazil is very, very tricky to find a way through. Hazard closing. Is he actually closing in onto Big Boss? It's a 36 lap Grand Prix, so expect a lot of people to be pitting around the lap 10 mark and going for a two-stop strategy of super softs, softs, and then super softs again. But Calcifer at the minute struggling to find any way through on the medium compound tyres. And Nagrom is actually closing up. Loses a bit of time through that final corner. We'll switch over if that gap closes down at all. But here we go. Hazard on Big Boss. He's going to go for the outside as Big Boss goes defensive. Can Hazard make the move work? Yes, he will sweep around the outside of turn 1 to reclaim 8th position. Big Boss going to run just a little bit wide, but if we run on board, he's got the DRS. He's going to have a go into turn 2 now. He's down the inside, and he will make the move stick, and he'll reclaim 8th place from Hazard. Up ahead, G3 closing in onto Muller. Speaking of G3, he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Let's, of course, write that down. Black Panther actually doing a really good job so far of staying with Hazard and Big Boss, and it looks like this is going to be the battle for best of the rest at the minute. But currently all the positions fairly stable right now. Calcifer is going to find a way through on Bencito, and he's done that into turn 13. I do apologize. And now it looks like Nagrom is right on his tail. Both of them have DRS, which will make it difficult for Nagrom to find a way through. He's going to go full the outside heading into turn 1. He's going to sweep for it, and Calcifer almost getting involved in a little bit of contact. Bencito forced out wide as Myla will take the position. Sorry, not Calcifer involved in contact, Nagrom. But let's look at up ahead because G3 is so close, and he's going to go side by side with Muller, and he's going to take 4th place. G3 looking very, very quick, but Muller actually is going to hold it around the outside, and now he's on the inside for turn 9, but G3 now on the inside for 11, and that is the crucial one. But Muller carries so much speed on the outside of turn 11, and he's going to hold on to the position. Watch out for G3 though, because he's going to have DRS. Can Muller get the run that he needs through the final corner? We'll just have to wait and see, but G3 looking very, very close. Photons within 4/10 of James. Nothing's going to happen there. It's all about this battle right now for 4th place. And G3 going to go for the outside as Muller goes defensive. G3 is going to look for the cutback. Bencito retires from the session, so not quite sure what's happened there. But G3 gets a really good run. He's going to get alongside before he activates the DRS, and he's going to be completely ahead as he enters the braking point. G3 will move up into 4th place. Panther slowly falling back off this group. We're going to switch detail over onto tyre selection. And everyone who started outside of the top 10 have gone for that soft compound of tyres, as Barney picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could be important in the battle for 10th place. But let's look up ahead because James is very, very close to Photon. He's 4/10 down, but with DRS he might be able to have it's a bit of a long shot at the minute, but perhaps he could have a dive at Photon into turn 1. He's too far back Let's go back to Muller, who's having a look at G3. G3 gives a little bit of a lock-up. Muller will get a much nicer line through the first complex of corners, but it won't change anything. While up ahead, James, yes, James still behind Photon. Sorry, I got my numbers mixed around. Calcifer up in 12th place now, and he's going to have to try to close it in onto Barney, who is in turn closing in on Black Panther. But Black Panther, he's having a look at Big Boss. He's going to go down the inside of Big Boss into turn 4, and he looks like he's going to make it worse. Does Big Boss have any answer to this at all? It would appear that he doesn't. Big Boss falling away from Hazard now, and he's going to be very soon falling into the clutches of his Force India teammate Barney. But look at Big Boss. He's all over the track, and his tyres have completely fallen off the cliff, it would seem, and the drives on the soft and medium tyres, so Barney, Calcifer, Nagron will really start to close in. Let's sit on board with these guys again, as they're going to have Muller too far back of G3. G3, it seems, is stretching out his lead every lap by a tenth or so. If he can break that 1 second gap, he can really start to pull out a lead, as Marek picks up his first time penalty of the Grand Prix. But look at this, Muller has got the run with DRS. He's going to go for the outside. Big Boss picks up a 3-second time penalty with that one set of tyres. But let's stick on board with Muller. So hard to find a way through here in sector 2. Can he possibly go for a dive bomb into turn 8? No, I don't think so. He's not going to go for it. Maybe into turn 11 he can have a shout, or he'll just have to wait for the start-finish straight once again. Marek's a bit too far back to really have anything to say in this battle for 4th place, and Soren is 1.3 seconds down. Let's keep an eye on that gap. Let's see if he can close in at all. But here we go, Muller and G3. What can he do? Muller actually very, very close to G3, and I think this time round he may find a way through. He's right on his tail. He's not going to go for a dive bomb actually. G3 late enough on the brakes to hold on to that position. But if we go back, Calcifer very close to Big Boss. Let's go back up to Muller. Muller has got DRS. G3 is going to go defensive. Muller going to look for the outside. G3 tries to squeeze him, but Muller not going to be able to find a way through. Muller gets the cutback on the inside through turn 5. Can he have a go? No, he can't. G3 seems to be getting the better drive once again. And Muller is going to have to settle for 5th place for now. Calcifer's found a way through on Big Boss as Muller takes a late apex through turn 11, and now through 12. Muller looking a fair bit back. What about James though? James is looking closer than he has done for quite a while. Could he possibly find some way through? He's going to have the DRS. Let's watch this closing speed. FormulaDani's pulled over a 2-second gap already. So Danny once again just on a different planet to these guys, and just insanely quick. James, he might have a shot heading into turn 4, but he's a fair bit back. What about Muller? Muller's much closer. He could possibly have a go. Calcifer fairly close to Barney, but we'll have to take a look down the back straight. They're on the back straight now. Calcifer does have DRS. Could he possibly have a cheeky look down the inside? He's going to go for it, you know, and he's going to go down the inside into turn 4. Can Barney hold it around the outside? Calcifer forces him out wide. He has none of that. Says, Barney, you can try to hold it, but I'm taking this position. Good luck. Calcifer is up into the points positions finally, and now he's hunting down Black Panther. Meanwhile, Soren actually falling back from this battling group. So Soren doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with these guys. But up ahead, Muller once again fairly close to G3. And it just seems like he doesn't have the closing speed. Maybe he's got more DRS. But Danny has a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that is a very, very important. That could change the entire course of the championship. If it finished as it was standing, it would have been a very difficult for Calcifer to win the title. But FormulaDani out of the pits. Will he come ahead of Big Boss? No, he won't. And FormulaDani coming right out into the thick of this. He's on the soft tyre, so he's gone super soft. And I don't think he can make it to the end of the race. It's Barney very slow in front of him. Will Barney get out of the way? Does Barney know that he's battling for position? I don't think he does, you know. And Barney is going to hold up FormulaDani so much. FormulaDani looking for the inside into 8, but he's not going to find any way through just yet. And now you've got Big Boss right alongside him. Barney's going to have to be as aggressive as he dares. Down the inside he goes into turn 11. And he will make the moves work, but he probably lost about a second because of all of that. Meanwhile, Big Boss closing in onto Barney. He's on those super soft tyres, don't forget. James and Photon are into the pits. Let's see where they feed out relative to FormulaDani. FormulaDani does have a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But FormulaDani coming from a long way back down the inside of Black Panther. Black Panther going to actually let him through. You can see there James and Photon in the pit lane as Black Panther gets a time penalty. What did he get a time penalty for? Anyway, Muller has retired from the session. What's happened to Muller? We're going to come up to Muller, and there you go. Muller has lost the back end on the exit of 5. Great news for Calcifer, but Muller is out of the Grand Prix. And here it is, FormulaDani behind Calcifer. Calcifer is going to back FormulaDani up as much as he can. Look at the defensive line being taken from FormulaDani. Defensive line from Calcifer. Very clever stuff from Calcifer to back FormulaDani up as much as he can. Calcifer doesn't know that he has a 5-second penalty yet, but he will do soon. And Calcifer has nothing to say to FormulaDani down the back straight. He's going to let him take the position. In fact, Calcifer going to get right into the slipstream, and that might have been his plan all along. Can Calcifer have a go down the inside? No, he's going to go for the outside. He's forcing FormulaDani to go defensive. Again, costing Danny more and more time. So good stuff from Calcifer there to delay his championship rival as much as he can. But let's take a look at Nagram. He's very close to Barney. Meanwhile, up ahead, Toffee has just come out of the fence. There's contact between Nagram and Barney. Nagram running into the back end of Barney. And Velocity James is going to come past Nagram now. You've got Photon, he's back here. Big Boss picks up another 3-second time penalty. As Myler gonna move through. FormulaDani retakes the lead of the Grand Prix. And Photon up Toffee. It's a massive cluster of cars right now. No one knows if they're getting lapped or if they're being overtaken. Toffee gets well out of the way of everyone. But Photon gonna go. He can't go down the inside. Myler gonna hold up Photon for a bit at the minute. But right now this is really good. Velocity Photon has got a 3-second lead to James, and don't forget he has a 5-second stop-go penalty, so watch out for that in the closing during the next pit stop, because that could change the race entirely. But Photon, he's going to go for the outside of Myler as they head into turn 1. Can Photon do it? He touches the grass. He'll be alright though, and Photon will move up into 5th place. Don't forget, Muller has a DNF. He lost the back end on the exit of turn 5, went into the wall. So that's a massive shame for him, and it's going to affect Toro Rosso completely in their pursuit of 7th place in the Constructor Championship. Oh, that's such a shame. Oh, sorry, Muller. In which case, I'm sorry that I said that you lost the back end. Do you know who it was? Was it a back marker or? But also, well done in qualifying as well, because that was an insane qualifying. You being up there with the Velocity boys as well. Oh, Barney going to lose her back in just a little bit through turn 11. Myler closing in. Don't forget, Myler and Barney on the same strategy at the minute. Both of them have done 14 laps on these set of tyres. Myler locks up a lot, almost ran into the back of Barney there. Emilio Sachs closing, actually a fair bit down, is a second down on Nelsinger as FormulaDani sets in another hot lap. Hey, it's all about fun. If you go 3 wide, it's just more fun for me as well. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. I was watching Calcifer getting held up by, sorry, FormulaDani getting held up by Calcifer. But Barney's into the pits now, so we'll have to see where Myler comes out relative to Barney when he makes a stop. Don't forget, Weeb's on the same strategy, but he's about 10 seconds down on both of them. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Muller. Unlucky stuff, and we'll see you next week for Abu Dhabi. What about James? James is closing in on Calcifer. Calcifer, if he's clever, won't hold up James at all. He needs to let James through so James can chase down FormulaDani. And Calcifer, you sneaky little driver. We see what you're doing. Good stuff, clever stuff though, clever stuff. It's a shame that Hamilton didn't do that the year Rosberg won the title. He saved it for Abu Dhabi, but he should have done it one race before. What about KM8? He's fairly close to Weaves. I'm sure he's going to find a way through down the start-finish straight. As James picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's his first of the race. That was so close. As Myler heading into the pits and KM8 trying to get as much slipstream as he could, almost running into the back of Myler. That could have been very, very close. But FormulaDani has the 5-second gap to James right now. So he's doing what he needs to because he does have that 5-second stop-go penalty. Actually, if you go back down to Barney right on the tail of Myler. So Myler, after that stop, came out right ahead of Barney. But Black Panther, 2 seconds ahead of the pair of them, although he's on slightly older tyres. So Black Panther doing a good job. Big Boss on those soft set of tyres. He's a further 2 seconds up the road, but with the soft tyres, he may have to pit that little bit later. We got Photon now, he's closing in onto Calcifer. And then Calcifer going to Velociphoton going to go down the inside into turn 6. And now he can begin trying to hunt down his Velocity teammate James. But that's practically the end of all the battles now. We'll have to wait until the next pit stop to see some crazy battles, but we do have this battle for 10th place here between Barney and Myler. Twin Barrel J still has to stop, and if anything happens to Panther, Big Boss, or any of the top 10, this will be the battle for the final point. So it's still an extremely important race that we have going on here. Black Panther, Myler, Barney, and Big Boss, and we'll have to see how this develops over the course of the race. And if actually Calcifer can make another 2 laps on these set of tyres, he could probably go to the end of the race on a set of soft tyres. So he could still go for a one-stop strategy, and he'll actually be in a good standing as well with that, as Big Boss picks up another 3-second time penalty. That's 9 seconds worth of penalty. So as it stands, he's going to fall behind Panther, Myler, Barney, and almost Elsinger as well. As Twin Barrel J has headed into the pit, he's going to come out around Bencito. So just a little bit off Weebs and ahead of Bencito. We'll see what the gap is when they come through Sector 1. 17 seconds, so still a fairly big gap. But watch the gap between Black Panther and Big Boss, currently sitting at 3.9 seconds. So let's see, Big Boss on the softer compound tyres needs to pull as much time as he can. Calcifer, if he can pit lap 21, 22, he could even go for super soft tyres to the end of the race. We'll have to see what his plan is. Muller did 12 laps on the super soft tyres, so Calcifer could do 13, 14 laps on it. So it just depends how badly worn Calcifer's tyres are. at this point and how much further he can go in this race. But FormulaDani did pit onto those soft tyres, so he is clearly going for the 2-stop strategy because he does have that 5-second stop-go penalty, so it does make sense. But we'll have to see if he's able to find a way through on the likes of James and Photon, because he needs to pull as much as he can. He'll probably put on a set of super soft tyres for that final stint. I doubt he can make it. Well, he started on the super soft tyres. I doubt he can do super softs and softs to the end. Maybe he can. Maybe he can. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Black Panther falling back from Big Boss. The gap's now 4.8 seconds. Big Boss also falling back from VP Marek. And actually, Marek has fallen behind Soren, so not quite sure how he's done that. He was ahead of Soren before, so something must have happened in the pit stop. Maybe he had a spin or something, but Marek has lost a massive chunk of places. Mila's still 1.5 seconds off Black Panther. As actually, sorry, Barney is 1 second down on Mila, who's 1.5 seconds off Black Panther. So they're closing in slowly but surely, I think, but it is very, very slowly at the minute. And we'll leave that gap as it is. Let's just ride on board with FormulaDani for a while. We usually don't sit on board with him through the races that much. He's coming up. I think he's coming to lap. Who is he coming to lap? Is he coming to lap Barney? Who's that ahead? Maybe it's Coffee. Maybe it's Emilio Sachs or something like that. I'm not too sure. And the fuel has just come up as orange for FormulaDani, so he's really pushing right now, trying to get the most out of these soft set of tyres. Calcifer still out there on that medium compound of tyres. Don't forget Big Boss on the soft tyres, so he's on a 2-stop strategy as well. As Marek picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's his second. Don't forget James has a penalty, but Photon doesn't. So Photon's actually in a good position at the minute to take the win of the race, especially with FormulaDani having that 5-second stop-go penalty and being on the 2-stop strategy. As Elsinger picks up a 3-second time penalty. Don't forget for the fair driver table, that can have a bit of an impact really. As Mila's almost within a second of Black Panther now. Who's that ahead? That's Bencito, who's about to get lapped by FormulaDani. But Mila and Barney slowly closing in onto Black Panther, almost within a second. And when Mila and Black Panther start battling, Barney's going to close in, as will Elsinger, as Bencito will move to the inside and let Mr. Danny through. And Danny will continue to stretch his lead over James, which is now at 7 seconds. Toffee, meanwhile, at the back of the grid. He's just been lapped by Twin Barrel J. So Bencito's still a little bit back. Meanwhile, Calcifer still going strong on those medium tyres. He's 5 seconds down on Photon right now, and he's about to lap Emilio Sachs. Emilio will get out of the way on the outside of turn 10. Sorry, on the outside of turn 9, I do apologise. But let's see when he pits. At the moment, if he pits, I reckon he's going for soft tyres. If he pits after this lap, I think he'll go for the super soft tyres. But let's see what he thinks he can do. As FormulaDani sets the fastest lap of the race at 109.6. And as usual, Danny just in impeccable form. Calcifer got to head into the pits though. Let's see where he'll feed out. Mila is within 8/10 of... As I saw a penalty and I thought that was Calcifer, but it's actually Weebs. So Weebs with 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Calcifer going to head in. Big Boss coming through. Calcifer not out of the pits. Calcifer's out of the pits and now. So let's just see from Big Boss's perspective where Calcifer is. And he's going to come out ahead of Black Panther. So Calcifer just behind Big Boss, and he's on those super soft tyres. So he's going to be trying to go to the end of the race on this set. But Mila's close into Black Panther. He has slightly fresh and medium tyres. And this is the battle for the final point of the Grand Prix. And actually, G3 closing in onto Hazard. Let's stick on board with Calcifer for now, because he's on the fresh tyres and he'll be finding a way through on Big Boss quite shortly. But don't forget, with this strategy, Calcifer actually he could close down Marek. He's got 10 laps as Sauron picks up another time penalty. Big Boss not really going to put up a fight, going to hang it out wide, and Calcifer will move down the inside and take the position. But Calcifer, he has... Sorry, let's stick on board with Mila. Calcifer has 12 laps to close into Marek, G3 and Hazard, who are all separated by 2 seconds. And with the super soft tyres against all medium tyres, you know what? He could be in for a 5th place finish. He could possibly do it after starting down in, what was it, 13th position. And considering Marek has 6 seconds worth of time penalties, G3 has 3 seconds, and Hazard has none. He is in a good position, Calcifer, to actually take 6th or 5th place. As FormulaDani's into the pits. Sorry, FormulaDani is into the pits. So let's see where he feeds out. He's on those soft tyres now. And there you go, you can see FormulaDani coming through the shot from Hazard's screen. And there we go, FormulaDani is going to come out just ahead of Hazard, which is so important. But now, can he close in to his teammate, Photon and James? Don't forget, James has 3 seconds worth of time penalties. But Danny has served his 5-second stop go with that. Otherwise, he would have come out ahead of Sauron. So, with James having a 3-second time penalty, FormulaDani just has to finish within 3 seconds of James. So let's see how that goes. But G3 closing in onto Hazard. They are on the exact same set of tyres, and they've done pretty much the exact same number of laps. Mila closing in onto Black Panther as well. We'll keep an eye on that gap. But Barney unable to close in as well. So Black Panther and Mila quicker than Barney, and it looks like those two will be rounding out your final points. But here we go, G3. He wants to go at Hazard. He's going to go for the inside. Hazard's not going to put up too much of a fight, and G3 will move up. Oh, as Hazard touches the grass under braking, and he almost loses the back end. Calcifer though sets the fastest lap of the race. He is 4.5 seconds down on this. He's at 108. What have these guys been doing? What lap times? Right, let's sorry, I'm getting excited. I don't have my water. I do apologise. Right, let's ride on board with G3. Let's see what kind of lap time he does. Because you've got Hazard and Marek, and I think G3 is going to pull away from Hazard now. He seems to have better pace on these medium tyres, and maybe Hazard has just worn out his medium tyres just too much. But let's take a look. FormulaDani pushing like crazy. He's got Sauron up ahead. I don't think Sauron will put up too much of a fight, but FormulaDani has got, after he crosses the line, he will have 9 laps to catch 9 seconds to Photon. Let's see what kind of lap time Danny does. It's a 108.3. It's a new fastest lap. He's going to go down the inside and he will make that move stick. 110 from G3, whereas Calcifer 109.6. 4.2 seconds is the gap now. But FormulaDani up into 3rd. So when everyone comes around again, let's take a look at all of their lap times and see how this is going to develop. Mila's still within half a second of Black Panther, but can't seem to find a way through yet. Doesn't have the speed differential just yet. So here comes James. What kind of lap time is it going to be? So 110.2. What about Photon? 110.6. And here comes Danny. So James a fair bit quicker than Photon. 18.7. So 1.5 seconds quicker than his teammates, which will be enough to close the gap. G3 110.1, 110.5, 109.3. So Calcifer closing in by a second a lap. So Calcifer will get that as G3 picks up his second time penalty of the race. That is crucial. He now needs to really pull like crazy from Hazard. Otherwise, Calcifer at the minute will jump ahead of the G3. He won't. Will he jump ahead of Hazard? No, he won't jump ahead of Hazard. He'll jump ahead of Marek, who also has 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Don't forget, 5 time penalties in ORL results in disqualification. Actually, can we get R7? For the 5 time penalties that count towards disqualification, would a 5-second stop-go penalty count towards that, or doesn't it? So I just wanted clarification on that. So Marek really close to Hazard now as he comes through the final corner. Hazard takes a bit more curve than Marek, but look at the gap to FormulaDani. It's only 6.7 seconds. It was over 9 seconds 2 laps ago. But here we go, Marek on a struggling Hazard, who is actually really struggling for pace right now. We're gonna have to switch to Hazard as Marek is gonna find the way through. Holds it around the outside of turn 1. But now Hazard may be able to get the drive. He does have DRS as they're going to head into turn 4 down the back straight. Can Hazard have a go? Up ahead, you've got a back marker as... Oh, there's going to be a little bit of contact. Oh, what am I doing? Marek, can you hold it around the outside? Toffee gets well out of the way, but Hazard's going to hold on to 6th place. As Myler... What's happened to Myler? There's... Black Panther and Myler have had it coming together, I think. As Big Boss takes another 3-second time penalty. That's his 4th of the race. And Barney is promoted up into 10th place. But let's stick on board with Marek. They're coming round to start a new lap. Can Marek get the driver out of this final corner? But look who's closed in. It's Calcifer, who has come up with a crazy drive as Big Boss. That's his 5th penalty, but the 5th is speeding in the pit lane. So can we have clarification whether he will be disqualified? Let's look up ahead. Marek gonna go for the outside as they head into turn 1. Will we see the same thing as last lap? This time Marek gonna look for the cutback, but Calcifer is here now, and Calcifer on the super soft tires will eat both of these guys for breakfast. Calcifer just needs to keep his tyres nice, okay? If he can get past these 2 guys, he has 5th because G3 has time penalties. Soren has 6 seconds of time penalties as well. So actually, as it stands, he's going to finish ahead of G3, but not ahead of Soren. If he can get past these 2 guys quickly enough, he could be in for 4th place, which will be fantastic news for Calcifer, because then he will just need a 3rd place in the final race to win the championship. And again, it depends on whether FormulaDani will win this race. But everything's coming together in these final couple, in this final section of the race. But here we go. DRS from Marek. Marek's going to go defensive. Let's sit on board with Calcifer. Calcifer wants to hold it on the outside of all of them. There's contact. And Calcifer will move through. But he's going to have DRS on Marek. A little bit of contact. I think that's fine though. Hopefully he hasn't lost any of his front wing. Calcifer with DRS. He's on the outside. I don't think Marek can really put up much of a fight. He's going to do it though. And Calcifer forced out wide. Calcifer has none of that. He's going to keep his foot firmly planted in. Marek defending with all of his life's worth. Calcifer has a 3-second time penalty, so that affects things massively. If it wasn't for that penalty, he could have taken 4th place. Again, we'll have to see if he has the pace. But now, after he gets past Marek, he has to get within 3 seconds of a G3. FormulaDani though is in 3rd. It doesn't look like he can do it. I don't know if he can actually win this race. Let's see if the Velocity Boys actually let him through or not. But James with 3 seconds worth of time penalties. I don't know, it's going to be tight. It's going to be really, really tight. But here comes Calcifer. Calcifer! He's going to dive it down the inside of Marek. And Marek going to hold it. Calcifer saying, I am taking this. I don't care, Marek. And this is actually crazy stuff. As now Hazard wants to go. Why am I getting stupid views? And Hazard trying to hold it around the outside. He gets forced out wide. Crazy, crazy scenes. As Big Boss, he is now officially disqualified with another time penalty. He's all the way down in 16th though, so it doesn't really affect standings too much. Elsinger closing in onto Nagrom though. Barney has a 3-second time penalty, so Nagrom could take the final point as it stands. But Calcifer, he doesn't have many laps to find a way through. Now the final battle is going to be this. Actually, let's sit on board with Marek. So Calcifer, let's sit on board with G3. What kind of lap time can G3 set? As Photon picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's his first of the Grand Prix. 1:10.2 from G3. What about Calcifer? So that was a lap that they were fighting. So Calcifer needs to find 2 seconds in 3 laps. I think he can do it. Photon and James both have 3 seconds worth of time penalty. So FormulaDani needs to find a way through on Photon and then a way through and then get within 3 seconds of James. Or James needs to get a cheeky another time penalty. But regardless, it's going to be a velocity 1, 2, 3. And look at that, FormulaDani right on the tail of Photon now. You can see him up ahead. James is a fair bit further up, but Photon has got caught in traffic. Weebs and who is it? Elsinger? I'm not sure who they're battling with. It's Ben, Cito and Weebs. Hopefully they won't cause too many issues. But FormulaDani a 10.3 from Photon and a 9.3 from FormulaDani. As Weebs gets well out of the way. Don't forget, FormulaDani with no penalties right now. Only 1 lap left. G3, what has Calcifer done? It's a 10.4. He doesn't seem to have the pace of Marek right on Calcifer's tail now. And all the battling between Calcifer and Marek has meant that Calcifer is not going to be able to close in on G3. He was doing so well, but G3, 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Calcifer with that time penalty right at the end. It unfortunately will cost him that 5th position. But FormulaDani is not looking like he's going to be able to take the race win. They're about to enter the final lap of the Grand Prix. So let's see if there's any team communications between these guys. But it looks like James may pick up the race win. And it is probably going to be entirely due to that 5-second stop-go penalty that FormulaDani did. It has affected his race massively, but FormulaDani so close to Photon now as we enter the final lap of the Grand Prix. Marek may also have a go onto Calcifer. Don't forget, if Muller was here as well, this may have changed things, but FormulaDani has the DRS. Will Photon go defensive? No, he won't. Even if Photon held on to it, Danny would not. Danny would take the position with time penalties anyway. Now, FormulaDani just has to get within 3 seconds of James on this final lap. Can they do it? Marek and Calcifer though, they're still battling so hard. And this is crazy. Marek now on the outside. And Marek won't be able to hold it. But look at this. FormulaDani now 4.6 seconds within James. And Marek's going to do it around the outside. Can he hold it? No way. Not through 6 and 7. Surely not. And he's going to try. He's got the outside now into 8. And he's now got the inside for 9. Calcifer trying his very best, but Marek finds a way through. Hazard picks up a time penalty. That's not going to affect this, really. But Marek will reclaim the position at the end. And there's a bit of contact. There's Calcifer. He's going to look for the cutback. He's going to go for the DRS. FormulaDani will take second behind James, though. 4.5 seconds the gap at the end. Calcifer with DRS. Who's going to finish across the line first? It's a drag race. And it is a Calcifer who will finish behind Hazard and G3. So Calcifer picked up a second time penalty at the end. So no, right, so Calcifer finishes ahead of Marek, who was 2.9. So Calcifer finished behind Marek, but Hazard jumps ahead of Calcifer because of that time penalty. FormulaDani though with a second. There's a massive pile up over here heading into turn 4. Wow, that is crazy. So guys, get your messages in. Let us know what questions you would like us to ask the top 3. But for clarification then, after an exhilarating round 20 penultimate race of the season here at Brazil, your final results are Veloci James ahead of Formula Dani, and Photon rounds out that Veloci one at the all-out Veloci podium. Soren takes 4th ahead of G3, ahead of G3 in 5th. Hazard takes 6th after jumping ahead of Calcifer and Marek after time penalties, while Black Panther takes 9th ahead of Nagro. Actually, Calcifer only had 1 time penalty. Hazard managed to find a way through on the start-finish line, 1/100th of a second, but Nagrom takes that final point of the session. Also, a massive shout out to Reeves in his penultimate race of his career, down in 13th place. So we're going to exit this now. We're going to put it onto our, what do you call it? We're going to put on the ORL loop, as I like to call it. There you go. I'm going to close the F1 2018 game. But that was a crazy final final laps. So, with FormulaDani taking 2nd in 18th place, he gains 12 points over Calcifer. 12. So the gap is now 15 points. So that was the same as if Calcifer had taken a 3rd and FormulaDani had won. If FormulaDani had won that race, the gap at the top of the standings would have been 8 points, which would have meant that Calcifer would have had to finish 2nd. So absolutely crazy in these final couple of laps. Right, so don't forget, if you have any questions for the top, for anyone at all, do let us know in the comments. Hello. You had a good race, didn't you?
Yeah.
I have a question though, and I'll ask you again in the actual interview. Did you cause Milo to spin, or did he spin by himself?
I didn't touch him, so I was a bit surprised what happened. Maybe desync, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Fair enough.
I need to look again at my video if I touched or not, but I think I did.
Yeah. Oh. Alright.
Oh, see, he said he lose control.
Ouch. He's sped by 82 kilometers per hour. What? Hey, Soren.
Hello.
Oh. I'm loving the chat right now. FormulaDani flaming, and then you've got Emilio who's like, lovely driving. Hey.
I'm exhausted.
Hello.
Hey. Alright, so what, we're waiting for James and Photon. They're going to... Oh. You right, James?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Just spend the entire interview just saying hello to each other.
Could do.
Yeah.
Not sure. Danny just sent me a message saying, "F word, I am so good."
Yeah, I can believe that.
There's a massive echo going on.
Sorry, I think it's my mic.
Yeah, he got a penalty going into the pit lane, and then when he was on the super soft tyres, and Calcifer was on the mediums, and Calcifer made his life very, very difficult through the final sector. I'll just say that.
Really?
Yeah, like he tried to back Calcifer up. He tried to back up Danny as much as physically possible, which I saw it coming, to be honest. But yeah, so Danny had.
Does he not like it or something?
Pardon? No, because Danny's challenging Calcifer for the title at the minute. So if Danny had won this race and the next race, Calcifer needed a 5th and a 3rd, and
Someone's mental.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So if Danny had won this race and Abu Dhabi, Calcifer needed a 5th and a 3rd, and with Calcifer starting from 13th place because he didn't get a lap in, yeah, he had to pull out all the stocks. So yeah. I'm looking forward to interviewing him on that bit. Is Fortune going to join, by the way?
I have no idea, mate.
Okay. In which case, let's start. Okay. So we're with our race winner, Velocity James, and a good qualifying. You, Danny, and Fortune were so close for so much of it, but eventually Danny pulled out the stocks. In the race, how was that race for you in general?
Very enjoyable. I was saying to the people on my stream, actually, it was a little bit tame and boring at points, but I passed Photon just before the pit stops, and in hindsight, that won the race for me, because if I came out behind Photon, then Danny had the pace to obviously catch both of us. So clearing Photon before the pit stops, really important. And Danny's messaging me right now, and yeah, he maybe should have won the race because he had a bit of a bad time behind Calcifer, and I think he was genuinely a bit quicker. Like, at the start of the race, we're on the same tyres and the same fuel, and he was gapping me. So yeah, I need to find some pace for Sunday's AOR race. But yeah, very enjoyable race, and well done for everyone who finished in the top 5.
Great race from yourself. So go on, give us a secret to Brazil then.
Secret to Brazil: don't eat the food. I mean, you just gotta, I don't know. Secret to Brazil. I'd say use the curbs. The curbs are quite important. A lot of the tracks you try and stay off the curbs. Like Mexico, you wouldn't necessarily use them, but on Brazil, they're quite flat, so you can attack them, and it does gain you a lot of lap time. Although you do risk getting a penalty like I did. So yeah.
Well, a great race from you, and will we be seeing you for Abu Dhabi?
I'd imagine so, yes.
Great.
I look forward to that one. So who's in the title race?
Calcifer and FormulaDani, and with that race, the gap is now 12 points. Yes.
12 points.
12
so
points,
if Danny wins, Calcifer has to finish where?
3rd, I think it is. Let me just double check.
Right.
So Calcifer came 7th, got 6 points. FormulaDani with 18, so 12 points. So the gap's 15 points. So if FormulaDani wins, Calcifer needs to finish 5th or better.
Right, okay.
So
it should be good then.
It's good.
I look forward to being a part of it. Hopefully I can have a little influence on the final result. That'd be quite exciting.
Right. Well, yeah, looking forward to Abu Dhabi, and once again, thanks for joining us, and congrats again on your race win.
No worries. I'm going to leave now, so take care and see you next week.
Right. Okay. Soren, you ready?
Yeah.
4th place finish. I think it was 4th in the end. How was that race for you? Because it looked quite entertaining between you and Marek in those first couple of laps.
Yeah, the start was quite tense with Marek, but yeah, then I'm not very happy about my race. Yeah, I finished 4th but I think that it didn't really reflect the race that I had, because Marek, Garrix, and Muller were stuck at the pit lane, I think. So they lost a lot of time. And yeah, I really struggled at the start of the race. I was off the DRS zone when I decided to pit. I wanted to use a undercut to be closer and coming back to the DRS zone, and well, finally I had a lot of luck to be in front of them. So yeah, and quali wasn't good at all for me. I really wanted to be under 1.7. Uh, I would thought it might be possible to do something quite good in quali, and then maybe being more close to the top 3.
With regards to Marek in the pit lane, do you know what happened exactly? Why he fell back so much?
No, no. I really don't know what happened. I just saw that on the minimap when after 2 laps on medium, I just saw that Marek was far away, and Garrix too. I don't know what happened to Muller, to be honest. So yeah, I just saw that then, and yeah, I just saw that I was in front with a lot of time. So yeah.
Good race from you, and will we be seeing you for the final race next week?
Yep, for sure, for sure.
Great.
Can't wait to see this fight between Dani and Calcifer.
Yeah. It should be really, really good fun. But once again, congrats on your 4th place, and I'll see you next week then.
Thank you.
Right. Hazard?
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Is that how I say it then? Is it Hazard?
Yes, yeah.
Right. I feel like there's only one place I can start, which is the final lap, and that the whole final laps between yourself, G3, and Calcifer. Just talk us through it.
Well, obviously I was a bit behind. I was in the rear. I did know that Marek had the 6 seconds of penalties, but I didn't know that Calcifer, if that's how you say it, had his penalties. So I was pushing like hell to try and get ahead of him. And then obviously I got that final penalty on the last lap, and I thought, no. But yeah, I just kept pushing, and I did make a little bit of contact going into the last corner, because obviously I think he broke a little bit early to try and get the exit. But yeah, I don't think it really affected anything. He didn't spin out or anything. So yeah, and it was really close across the line. It was like 11 hundredths or something. So yeah, crazy finish.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was just absolutely insane. And so I think you take 6th or 5th, was it?
I think it was 6th.
6th.
Yeah, 6th.
Okay. Well, a good job from yourself. And once again, will we be seeing you in Abu Dhabi?
It totally depends. I've joined as a reserve driver currently, so I should be free next week. So I'll try and race, but it kind of just depends if I get the seat or not.
Okay. Well, good luck if you do join us, and I hope you do. And of course, if you do, then best of luck in this and AOR.
Thank you very much.
Right, Black Panther, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what I wanted to ask. Yes, you, Myla, and Barney actually.
Yeah.
How was that whole battle on the medium tires?
Oh well, it was quite intense. So first with the super soft tires, Barney stayed right behind me with his soft tires. So I was so surprised, like, oh my god, I need to push. But I couldn't push more because of my tire wear, because it was 17% if I'm correct when I pitted at lap 13, and then I came out of the pits and I was like, okay, I have a gap to these guys. And then Mila came out of this very close to me. I was like, okay, this is dangerous. And then he closed up even more and more and more. Then he was right behind me, so I tried to put my ERS always on overtake on the straight and my fuel on ridge. And then yeah, he tried to take me, and I went to the outside and tried to defend my position like Ocon did on Verstappen. I think we touched a little bit at turn 1, but at turn 2 we had like a gap. And then he just lost the rear, I think, on the curb and went into the grass, which is a really shame because he was going for, that P9.
Fair enough. Well, a good battle between you and Mila, and you had a good qualifying position. And I'm not sure if Mila could have got past, but it would have been a great race if that had continued. So
yeah, for sure. He's a great guy also. So yeah.
So congratulations on what was it, 9th place?
Yeah, I think it's 9th. So now I'm 6 points behind him. Yeah,
oh, so it's going to come down to the final race then, yeah?
Yeah, also, but it's going to be difficult.
I have way too many battles to look out for now in that final race. So.
Yeah, it's going to be intense for sure.
So once again,
yeah.
So once again, congrats on your position and best of luck for Abu Dhabi.
Thank you very much.
Right, Barney, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Again, I'm going to go to the whole thing of you, Mila, and Panther. Did you think you could get to the back of them, or did you just not have the pace?
I really tried, but I don't think that I had the pace this time. I hope to, but yeah.
Well, I mean, still a decent result. You managed to pick yourself up a nice point.
Actually, I don't, because I finished in 11th. I had 6-7 seconds penalty.
Oh, wait, who jumped you?
I think it was Negrom.
Ah, that's unlucky. How was qualifying? How was the whole race in general in terms of setup and all of that stuff?
I think my setup was pretty decent. My tire degradation was pretty spread to all 4 tires. Qualifying was great. I didn't expect to be that quick, and yeah, the race was very. I was very constant in the race, constant pace, and yeah, the whole race I was about 1 to 4 seconds behind Panther and Mila. And then somehow Mila crashed, I don't know why. And in the meantime, I tried to save some tires while they both were battling, so I could catch up later, but that didn't quite work out.
Well, a good job from yourself, and will we be seeing you in Abu Dhabi?
Yes, of course.
Okay, well, best of luck for Abu Dhabi then, and hopefully we can get a thriller.
I hope so too.
Right guys, I'm going to leave the voice chat and I'm going to sign out the stream. So I'll see you guys later.
See you.
Right guys, that was a very exhilarating round 20 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And something that we didn't expect, FormulaDani was unable to win after the 5 second stop go penalty, as we may be getting something coming through. However, until I get confirmation. So, FormulaDani, unfortunately, with his 5 second stop go penalty, was unable to take the win. He did manage second though, but Calcifer, after his battle with Merritt, was unable to use the super soft tyres to full effect. So the gap is now 15 points heading into the final race. A win from FormulaDani in Abu Dhabi will mean that Calcifer just needs to finish above 5th. If Calcifer finishes 5th, he will lose the title, because on number of race wins. If Calcifer can finish in 4th or above, Calcifer will win the championship. If he finishes 5th or lower and FormulaDani wins, he loses the championship. So on that note guys, we will be back next week on the 21st of March for the final race, and it will of course be held at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So until next time guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.